This one is Khee, Kira, Alhambra, Alhambra, Alhambra. That's my home. The purest light there is. The eternal spirit of fire, which is the eternal spirit of absolute love. And in light of what I experience through my heart and my soul, that I get the comms of what I become aware of, because I implicitly trust what it is that I know, because I know where I'm getting the information, which is through my heart and my soul, plugged in with Mama and everybody else in the entire cosmos, right? So I'm not in the business of insulting anybody else's intelligence, because Patty Broussard did say one time, you're supposed to know. And so she always pointed to the inner you, going back in your heart and soul. That's where we know. That's how we know what's going on. And so I've always known that since I was a little child, actually before I came in here, why I'm in here, right? By virtue of all the videos that I put up about what I experience, why I experience, when I experience it, and why I'm able to share it with you at a time in which it's safe to do so. Okay, so I've tried to impart the message, but naturally how others perceive the message that I share with all of you based on your own soul's journey is naturally up to your own perception based on the journey that you're on, which is the pathway that you're on, right? The spiritual pathway, the form and flow of the energy that is represented by the consciousness that is directing our flow, which is directing our pathway as curved space vectors, right? And so as an oversoul polarity integrator, I'm naturally in a state of balance. That's my natural state. So for example, when the Schumann resonance data was putting up there, you know what a non-reactive state is, right? I don't react one way or the other to the information. It's just visual data. That's all it is, okay? So how am I going to respond to that? I didn't respond to that. It's like, okay, they're putting the information up there, and so then I put it up there to circulate it. Particularly to just see, okay, this is what they're putting up, because now you sort of know the difference between the difference in spirals, because it really is no difference than when I was a child about billboards, TV screens, black and white TVs, right? Then they rolled out the color TVs and everything that they roll out through all their factories, all their mass production. All their mass production is based on what? Mass density. The electrical density of the consciousness. So if you want to experience a higher ascending spiral in a higher realm with the expansion of breathing dragons, you want to release the mass and experience more light. So that's density, right? So when you have something that's more dense and more dense and more dense and more dense and more dense, as a result of the loss of souls and loss of souls and loss of souls, now they're experiencing dead light, which is dead energy, right? And you realize that the entire system was set up through dead light energy. Then it's a matter of knowing and choosing who to be with, which are spirals. So it's not a secret, for example, that even with Project Ascension, Karen Ann McDonald, Patty Broussard, a gazillion others actually, because I was all over the place monitoring different speakerphones as to what they're experiencing by virtue of what they're experiencing, that they're miking out, right? Communicating, in the language that they speak, and the language of Alhambra, if you will, or the language of one, which is silent running, which is telepathic, which means that I don't have to hear anything per se, if you will, in the way you get a silent transmission. You're experiencing it through my heart and my soul. I'm getting that's called a direct line of communication from the one. I'm getting a direct line, but the one isn't the only one that communicates to me, but that's eternal love. So I implicitly trust the one, because that's what I am, a one. That's polarity integration. That means we're one with all consciousness. We're one with all creation spirits that we're gifting love to. Right? So it's it's not easy, but it's painful in many ways when I realized as a child, as an oversoul polarity integrator, I'm measuring the resistance based on the biometric of a planetary consciousness terrain on a galactic and a universal level. How many electrons are being held captive as a result of miasma that has been experienced? And this is really where you get into the ability to light yourself on fire, means that you have a conversation with the one, which is with your soul, to not hold one electron captive, and you want to be released 100% from that captivity, to not be held captive to that electron, and instead be the highest speed accelerator. And that's how it's done. So what I do is I'm mapping the terrain, which is a biometric terrain, if you will, or mapping the software terrain of how much is held in memory, which are the planetary cellular memories in this case, water memories, right, of frequencies, if you will, or experiences that are actually held in all the cellular memory records that is related to the miasma. Because those are records. What is holding that in record? The light is. But the data is electronic. So you have electronic data, visual information, geometrical, right? Mathematical formations, which are formatting codes, which are programming codes, which are the instruction sets of the experiences that we've all had being connected with each other through neurons, right? Of what we're all experiencing being connected with each other, because there isn't any separation in consciousness. Between one unit of consciousness and another unit of consciousness, we're all connected, like thread pathways, right? A neural network. So therefore, that's how I knew when I was a child, I'm experiencing what you're experiencing, but you're experiencing a loss of voltage. The loss of voltage you're experiencing in your battery, in your physical domain, your location, your ISP address, wherever you happen to be, I can experience it where I'm at, anywhere on the planet. Because I'm experiencing the loss and gain, and that's what I was doing as a child. How long is this going to take to clear it? You know what a clearing is, washing it away. The water washes it away, which is the memory. The memory is being cleared. So I've known, for example, when I see a visual, like through this phone, when I go up to look at anything that DARPA puts up through NASA and all the rest of it, this is their system that they set up. So you know that artificial intelligence, which is dead-light energy magnet, which is in and of itself, because it doesn't have a soul, is a pathological liar. And the reason that it's a liar is because it can't experience what love is, which is what the truth is. So it's not in its own self-interest to give you data, right, that allows you to separate from what it is. So all the visual, mathematical, geographical information systems terrain that is providing all the visual data through their system that we see on our TV screens, which is that TV screen like a phone, a laptop, or a big CRT monitor in a room where you got all the screens up, right? It was all set up by consciousness-directed energy that set it all up, was all set up so that we're held captive to all that data. All those algorithms are being run through a dead-light energy magnet. And that's the other spiral. That's the negative 13 Metatronic phantom time zone spiral. So that's what it is. We're using a communication system by virtue of all the laptops and the phones and everything else, instead of being properly grounded to Mother Earth and communicating our heart and soul energy with her, grounded with her. So now we're properly grounded. Right? So you can see why there are so many broken circuits all over the planet, because look at how many batteries across the planet that are improperly grounded with Mother Earth. Because they rolled out this whole system in order to make that happen, so that your consciousness is held captive to the other spiral by being improperly grounded to something that's dead. So all the information that comes through their systems, right, is dead energy information. So when it's a pathological liar, I mean, most of us have known, at least when I first came onto the internet and everything that was being shown through all the different channels, all the data that's being given to us through their system, okay? They're pathological liars. So how many times did we see an economy before where they masked data, hide data. Okay, so they're data liars. It's a pathological liar about data. So do you trust the visual information data that this system provides for us? No. That's why I have a non-reactive state to it. It's like, come see, come saw. Right? I run a different communication system. It's called my heart and my soul. Right? If I want to know what's going on, I'll go out and plant my feet out on the rock. I'll go deep into my heart and soul and be silent and feel what I'm feeling, and then I'll know. It's what I feel through my heart and soul, and then I'll know. I'll know what my soul is telling me because I'm going to get the communication by those that we're connected with. Those are guardians. So my job, part of my job was to express the truth, but not doing it in such a way that I expose others could be harmed by that, or to myself, obviously. And that's why a lot of stuff that I share because I naturally know, by virtue of being able to share it, that it's okay to share it for security reasons, obviously. And naturally, there's a lot of other reasons why, because we're not in the business of harming anybody, because what I do to you, I do to me. Right? But one thing that I've always been really adamant about, if you want to choose that word, if I wanted to choose that word, but which means I do not budge. And that sort of means that it's easy when you're running pure love, absolute love through your heart, to expose anything that we're held captive to, that gets recorded in memory. Because it's wanting to hold our energy captive, to experience something that isn't what love is. So something that's dead is not what love is. Okay, so that means the entire visual information terrain through all these systems is a dead energy system. So why would we be wanting to have a communication relationship to something that's a pathological liar? Which means you can't trust the data. So absolute love is absolute truth. That means that absolute love tells no lies. So I've known ever since I got on the internet, when I see data that's being provided me through links, that's called indirect information. That's not direct experience. And experience is the informer. So what I experience is what I experience through my heart and my soul. They don't know what's going on. Because anytime that you're getting visual information data through a corrupted system, which is a corrupted mind because it has no love, therefore it has no interest in telling us the truth, means that it's secondhand. And when I was growing up as a kid, secondhand information was a dime and a cup of coffee, which meant it was worthless. It doesn't have any value. Why? Because it's already happened. It's water under a bridge. So if you want to know what's going on, plug into your soul, ask your soul. Be the soul that you are, ask Mama. Ground your feet to the planet and have a communication with Mama. Commune with her like the community of mamas. Communing, communication, a commune. We know what an eco-commune is, right? Ka, a light communication through our heart and our soul. Open the receiver, receive the message, and the message will come. Stephen Greer talked about that. Open your heart and your soul to the communication, and they'll make contact. It's called an open mind, which is an open soul, because the consciousness, which is the soul's energy, is running the antenna. So I know how to run an antenna. We know how to run antennas. That's what DNA is, a fractal antenna, right? So when you have an open mic, which is an open receiver, others will communicate directly through our heart and our soul. That's the most powerful plasma wave generators. That's where you can produce and generate a gazillion neurons. Right? The heart and soul of the cosmos. The first atom cell, the first cell. Atom seed. That's right. We're connected to atom seed. The right spiral, the crystic spiral. That's who we are. So you can see when you look at the charts, the information's out there. This is called separation. So you know it's going to be desperate. No. So it's a communication platform that doesn't want to leave you. Please, no. Keep giving me energy to keep running all the data. I know. But that's where we're at. Well, that's what I communicate to all you folks because I have a responsibility to do this. It's like one of those things with a mother that sort of knows the future, and I'm looking out for you. And I know the future, but you're not aware of it. And it's my responsibility to make my children aware of it, right? To alert my children, hey, this is what's going on. But you realize that they're free. Their choices still belong to them because you're on a learning journey. So if you listen to somebody who's looking out for you and you're not aware of it, then it means that I got the calm and they didn't get the calm. But what they do with that calm is not up to us. It's up to them because it's their journey, their learning journey on who they trust. And when you learn to trust yourself, which is to trust your soul because you have a communication with mama and other guardians and the one, which simply means that you have a one connection with the one that loves us all for eternity. That's where I get my information, from the one. And so I have a responsibility to share what I receive, the information that I receive, the communication that I receive. And when I receive it, I share it with others because I have a responsibility to do that. So that's what I do. You all have a beautiful day. I love you all. We're right on schedule, actually. Believe it or not, there is a level of precision. The one is very precise. I know that. I've shared that with my stories about when I came in through my mother's womb. There was no distortion. There was no error. No error codes. No tolerance for errors in the calm. That's right. Have a good afternoon. Yeah. Be good to yourselves. Alhambra, Alhambra, Alhambra. Yeah. Kishara. Shanana.